Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Currently On podcast. Okay, I don't know how exciting this episode's going to be, but I can promise you I'm going to try very hard to make it interesting and to make it informative, and it may prove to be helpful, especially if you decide to watch the movie that I'm going to be telling you about. Now, today is Tuesday, August the 11th, 2020. It is currently 9:46 a.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you from Abilene, Texas. Now, if you've been watching movies for any length of time, it doesn't take you very long to figure out that certain types of movies uses a certain type of storytelling. In fact, there's kind of a template in how the story is told. All right. So you have a certain type of movie, and no matter how many different movies are made under that type, they're all going to utilize some basic similar ideas and similar concepts in the way they tell the story. Let me give you an example to try to clarify what I'm saying. If you sit down on your couch or if you go to a movie theater and you're going to watch a movie that has a superhero in it, right? Doesn't matter if it's a DC movie, a Marvel movie. If you've got superheroes in it, you know basically how the story's going to go, right? You're going to have a superhero, you're going to have a supervillain, you're going to have a battle, and the superhero is going to prevail at the end, and everyone's going to be saved. You pretty much know how that story's going to go. Now, there may be some twists and turns. And the ability to use some twists and turns and the ability to introduce some unique aspects to that story is going to possibly make that movie more interesting, or they may not try to offer really anything unique, and it's just going to follow the very basic template. You know that. If you watch a disaster movie, there's a basic template, right? Oh, here, a disaster is coming. There's that one character trying to warn everybody, and nobody will listen to that character. And ultimately, the disaster strikes, and that person is proven to be right, and ultimately going to save a number of people. Typically, in those kinds of movies, there'll be some character in there that wants to disagree and go against what the main character is saying. He may try to take a group of people off in a different direction, and you know they're all going to end up dying. If it's a movie where there's some sinister, deranged killer, you pretty much, many times when the movie starts, you're looking at the characters involved. You're like, okay, they're going to die first. They're going to die second. They're going to die third. And then you know, okay, when they go over here, they're going to die. If they engage in this activity, they're going to die, because you've seen that type of movie, and they follow the basic template over and over and over and over again. And that's not necessarily, I'm not necessarily criticizing that, because obviously the template works. Obviously that template works. People are entertained by it. Even though people may kind of expect it, they're still entertained by it. And if they're entertained by it, and if the movies are successful, if that template in the book, movie, TV show, if it's successful, then you're going to keep doing it. Now, yes, I would prefer sometimes they'd be creative, change that template up a little bit, do something unique. But sometimes if you try something too unique or try to change the template too much, sadly, many times fans will just absolutely reject it because they want the template. And you could debate all day about, how much should it be changed? How much should they rely on it? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Everyone has their own opinion. Bottom line, it comes down to, are you entertained by the movie? And if you're entertained by the movie, I guess that's all that matters. But some people, I think I've fallen into this camp. I like when they try something creative. They bring in something unique to that way of storytelling, because I think it makes it feel fresh. It makes it feel new. I think it adds a layer of excitement. You're like, okay, I'm familiar with this type of movie, but this is a unique aspect. This is a unique take. And then that draws me in a little more. You want to go with the old and true template. You don't want too much messing with it or changing it. Everyone's going to approach it a little differently. But there is a movie that I watched last night that is a type of movie. It deals with a very common theme that's been talked about in movies forever, it seems, and that is a vampire movie. Oh, we've got vampires. Now, it's a vampire movie, but I believe what they did is they added just enough of a unique twist. They added a couple of unique elements that really, in my opinion, made the movie very interesting. It was creative enough that even though I kind of thought I knew where it was going, I'm like, oh, this is kind of all right. The setting for this movie, the kind of the situation these people find themselves in really adds to this. So I thought it was unique enough, creative enough, entertaining enough that I'm here today to tell you about it. And I hope that you will at least watch it, because I think you'll be entertained by it. Now, you may have already seen it. It is an older movie, but if you haven't and you're looking for something to watch, I would tell you to put this on your watch list, put it in your queue, and I think you'll have a good time. All right. So we have a vampire movie. You probably kind of know what to expect with a vampire movie, but this one I think is unique, and we're going to get into it. So are you ready? Let's talk about this movie, okay? What movie? Now, if you've already seen the title for this episode, you know. But the movie we're going to be talking about is 30 Days of Night. 30 Days of Night, which was released on October the 19th, 2007 in the United States. 30 Days of Night, 2007. It was, again, released on October the 19th. So it's obviously an older movie. I thought it still held up. There are a couple of times some of the, I guess you could call them special effects, or some of the ways the movie looks at a couple of times. I was like, but I think probably that has more to do with the budget that the movie was made on. It was kind of a more smaller budget, but I think it still holds up. I still think it holds up. And again, primarily for the unique feature they add to this, the unique setting they add to the telling of a vampire story. All right, 30 Days of Night, 2007. It's rated R. It's 1 hour and 53 minutes. I think it should have been just a little shorter in my estimation, or there was certain scenes that they could have extended a little longer. I think that would have added a little bit with the pacing. So you could kind of argue a little bit there, but 1 hour and 53 minutes. It's listed as an action horror thriller. And here's the basic storyline. All right. And again, when I offer reviews and kind of my analysis, I try to be very careful not to ruin the movie for you, because there's no point in telling you about a movie if I'm going to ruin it. Okay. So I'm going to be very careful not to give anything away. Here's the storyline. It is a story of an isolated Alaskan town that is plunged into darkness for a month each year when the sun sinks below the horizon. Now, that is what I thought is the unique feature. You have this Alaskan town, all right? It's an isolated Alaskan town out, in the middle of nowhere. And each year, for 30 days, the town has no daylight, has no sunlight. It's 30 days of night. Alaska, snow, cold, below zero temperatures, no sun. That is a unique setting for the story of vampires. This is what I thought was really cool about it. I mean, here's a town, because we all know the vampire legend that they can't stand sunlight. They come out at night. So this places the entire town in darkness for 30 days. I loved that unique take on the story. I thought that was unique. The whole idea that it's wintertime, it's freezing, it's snow, you got the wind blowing, you got darkness, you got snow. I thought that all were added elements that took a very familiar story and added a twist to it that really pulled me in. Because when I saw it coming on, I was like, okay, vampires. Okay, I've seen this a million times, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch it. And here's what happened. I try all the different streaming services over and over and over and over again. Whenever I get in, now I've subscribed to many of them, but then if for some reason they send me an email and they offer me another free trial, I'm obviously not going to decline. I'm going to take advantage of it. So AT&T TV, AT&T, now, when we talk about AT&T TV, remember you have AT&T TV, which now has their own little streaming box, and you have to go to the AT&T TV store, buy the box, you sign up. It's a 2-year contract. The prices for the first year look very inviting, but by the second year, they jump up a massive increase. And you could talk, well, is that a good idea, bad idea? Okay, but that's AT&T TV. Along with AT&T TV, they have their standalone streaming service, which used to be called AT&T TV Now. I think it's now also called AT&T TV. But with that service, you don't need to go get their box. You can use your Apple TV, your Roku, and you can just sign up and you can start streaming. Their prices, I think, they've got lots of channels available, but I think their prices at some point just makes it not a reasonable service. We could have that discussion. But I got an email offering me a 7-day free trial for AT&T TV /AT&T TV Now. And I'm like, okay, great. So I signed up, and there's a channel on there called HD Movie Net. I think that's what it's called, HD Movie Net. So what I did is, as I use Hulu Live, and I use Hulu for my primary streaming. I also subscribe to other things like HBO Max, Apple Television. I subscribe to a lot of other standalone services, but I use Hulu Live and Hulu for most of my television viewing and movie viewing. So when I got AT&T TV Now /AT&T TV, whatever they're branding themselves today, I just started going through, okay, HD Movie Net. I don't have that on Hulu. Let's just start going through the guide. 30 Days of Night. I read the little description, record, right? Late last night, I went back to the DVR, found it, hit play, and that's basically how I came across the movie. I was just looking for a channel that I didn't already have access to, looked for the movies that I thought were interesting, just started hitting record, and I'm going to watch as many of them as I can in 7 days, all right? So thank you, AT&T TV, for the free trial. I greatly appreciate it, but your prices are a little too high, okay? Especially when I think that the package that they give you the free trial for is the $80 a month trial, and it doesn't even have, like, the Discovery Channel. I have to go up to the next level for the Discovery Channel. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm going to be paying $100? Yeah. And then if you want like the MLB network, I think you got to be like, I don't even know what package that is. So yeah, that's all crazy. So that's how I came across the movie. And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it. And when I saw the description, my first thought was the way that description is written on the guide. It didn't give me too much information, but as soon as I started the movie, I mean, the minute I hit play and they were like, here's the name of the town. It's in Alaska. Each year they have 30 days of night. And then it started showing the town and there's snow. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So basically the movie covers a 31-day period, basically. You have the day before the polar, I think it's called the polar night, comes along, where it's 30 days of darkness. You have the day before, everyone's getting ready for it. Many people are leaving town. Then you have the 30 days of darkness, and then you have the very next day when the sun is rising as the final scene of the movie. So it covers a 30-day period of time. That's kind of interesting. You have a town that's in the middle of nowhere. You have ice, snow, below freezing temperatures. You have darkness, and you have vampires. All of those elements create kind of a unique feature for the movie, a unique setting for the movie that you have to watch it just for that, because you can kind of really relate. Man, it's freezing, it's cold, it's dark, there's vampires. Yeah, there's a lot of elements that I think make it very interesting. So here's the storyline again. This is a story of an isolated Alaskan town that is plunged into darkness for a month each year when the sun sinks below the horizon. As the last rays of light fade, the town is attacked by a bloodthirsty gang of vampires bent on an uninterrupted orgy of destruction. Only the small town's husband and wife sheriff team stand between the survivors and certain destruction. There you have it. I mean, that sets it up. I mean, it's. I don't know what I don't want to take it. I don't want to take anything away from your viewing experience by giving too much away. So I'm not going to give too much away. You get the basic setup. And yes, you are going to have some of the basic elements, but I think the setting is unique, and I think the ending, it may not be what you expect either. Maybe you will expect it, maybe you will not, but I think the ending is takes a direction that you will not expect. So here's what you have. 30 Days of Night, right? The movie, and again, I watched it on HD Movie Net on AT&T. I know it's available for rent on Amazon Prime Video. I don't know what other streaming services may have it. Again, it's called 30 Days of Night. There was a sequel made called, what was the sequel made? Let me see here. There was a sequel made. 30 Days of Night, Dark Days was made in 2010. 30 Days of Night, Dark Days made in 2010. I have not seen the sequel. I think the sequel went just directly to video, straight to video. I don't know if it was any good, but I think I don't think you even really need the sequel unless you want to watch the sequel. I don't think this ends where you're like, oh, I've got to see the next movie. I think this one turned out to be more successful than they thought. In fact, let me give you the basic numbers here. The film was produced on a budget of $30 million. It grossed over $75 million at the box office during its 6-week run. The critical reviews were mixed. So, there you have it. Let me see here. I'll just read what one person said. I'm typically not a great fan of vampire films. However, this movie is a new take on an old legend. The setting is fantastic. And what could be more scary than 30 days of endless night when you're besieged by vampires? Okay. These are not your father's vampires. Nothing seductive or even campy about these guys. They're what the vampire was originally supposed to have been. Scary. Okay. I think of all setting, an Arctic or Alaskan frozen isolated area is a great stage for horror and suspense. And I agree. That's what makes it unique, is the setting of the movie makes it unique. But there is one other major theme in the movie that I have to talk about. All right? Because I think this is we could talk in the movie about some of the acting, the main male character. He's hard to read. It's like there's something missing in his performance. Like there's something that just keeps me at an arm's distance. I don't feel like there's something with him that doesn't really make me connect to him emotionally. He's the sheriff of the town. He's obviously going through a separation with his wife. You think you would be kind of brought in and feel something for him, but there's something about him that just doesn't allow you really to go, man, I'm rooting for this guy. There's something there. There's kind of a coldness there. Now, possibly that's done on purpose because they don't ever really tell you what the issue is between him and his wife and why they're separated. It doesn't really tell you why, but maybe because his personality there's something cold there and you don't really are drawn to him, that now there's the coldness in the environment and has entered a coldness into their relationship, maybe. So that you'll have to interpret that for yourself. But here's one of the major themes that I think is screamed in the movie. And I'll ask it in a question. What is the absolutely greatest sign or greatest proof of love? What is the absolute greatest sign or proof of love? Now, we could answer this a lot of directions, but in this, we could go a lot of different directions and really explore this. We could get really philosophical about the concept of love and what is it. But I'll say this. In this movie, 30 Days of Night, the greatest example of love is sacrifice. If you truly love someone, you will sacrifice for them. You will give everything for them. Even if there is a even if you're not getting something in return, even if the relationship seems to be broken, if you truly love that person, you sacrifice everything for them. Now, I'm not going to tell you how this all plays out, but it plays out in a very powerful way. You may, you'll have to wait to the last scene. Do not stop watching the movie when you think just watch it all the way to the credits roll, because the last scene is really powerful, and it really, as the sun is rising, you really get, is it a story about vampires, or is it a story about what real love is? Is it a story about that love will sacrifice everything? Even if there is no evidence you're going to ever get anything in return. That is love. Love is not self-seeking. Love is seeking the good of others. This is a powerful idea of love. It really changes. Sometimes we say we love you, but we love you because of what you can get. I love you, but what I'm saying is I love you because of what you give me, because of what you give me some kind of comfort. You give me some kind of security. You give me some kind of a warm feeling. But love is demonstrated by not loving you for what you can give me, but I love you for what I can give you, what I'm willing to give you, because love is focused on the other. It's not focused on self. This is a major theme in the movie. And even though it's a vampire movie, I think this theme, it's not preached at you, but it's illustrated, it's demonstrated. And, you have this one very powerful scene where one man, he chose to go one direction with those he supposedly loves, and then the other man, he's going to go in a different direction to demonstrate his love. And so you really get this interesting contrast. Both of them, one is the sheriff, the other one works with the sheriff and deputy, I guess, maybe. And these two men, you're going to see them make two very different choices with those they claim they love. And that, to me, is the powerful message in the movie. If I love you, am I going to demonstrate that love by, because I can't handle this, I'm going to do this? Or am I willing to do whatever it takes, even though I may not get something in return? I'm trying to be specific but vague, because I don't want to give it away. The movie is worth that. The movie, just that discussion, just this illustration in the movie makes the movie worth your time alone. Forget the setting, forget the excitement, forget the vampires, forget the horror, forget the suspense. Just this kind of exploring this concept of, hey, this man supposedly loves his family, and he does action A. This other person loves his family, and he takes action B. Which one demonstrates love the most? I will argue the one that demonstrates love the most is the one that was self-sacrificing. Love is not about you, it's about the other person. And I think it's a powerful exploration of that theme. Not in a very preachy way. It doesn't go in depth. You have to just really be paying attention to it. Or you can lose it because you're all focused on vampires and killing and blood, and some of it is gruesome, and you can get all caught up in all of that. You'll miss that. Don't allow the blood, the gore, the violence to overshadow this very interesting exploration of love. All right? I think you need to really look at that, and I think you will appreciate that. Maybe I don't know. It'll be interesting if you watch the movie. Let me know. Let me know what you think about that exploration of that theme, because I think it's very, very interesting. And you can let me know your thoughts by emailing them to me at newsif@yahoo.com. Newsif@yahoo.com. That's newsif@yahoo.com. The other things I will say about the movie, the last kind of battle, confrontation, you can argue how that goes. Like, you may argue that's a little anticlimactic. It was built up in a very beautiful way because you got snow, you got fire, you got the two that coming together for the conflict. some odd choices in that kind of last battle scene that you may note that I don't think they really utilize really any music, and they don't really utilize really too many sound effects really in the battle. And you may think it's a little anticlimactic, but I think the message there, it really isn't about that last battle. It's about this concept of love. The battle is simply there to reflect these two contrasts of love. One man he went one direction for those he loved, and this man is taking a different direction for those he loves. And I think that's really the emphasis there. There was a part of me that was kind of wanting this last battle to be a little bit more, especially since the movie was an hour and 53 minutes. I thought they could have saved a little time and really built this up a little bit more, make it a little bit more dramatic. And then you have the very powerful last scene the next day when the sun comes up, and you'll have to see that for yourself. There you have it. 30 Days of Night. There's probably there's more I want to say, but I think that just gives you enough that hopefully will get you going. You know what? I'm going to go find this. If you have never done a free trial for AT&T TV now, then pull up your Roku, Apple Television, download the AT&T TV app, sign up for it. 30-day free trial. Make sure you get, I think it's called the movie package. You can add on for free and watch HD Movie Net. I think it may be available on demand. It's probably going to be replayed a lot. You can go on to the guide and find it. Or you can probably find 30 Days of Night on other streaming services. Find it legally. Come on, guys. Let's support the people who make movies. Let's support them, all right? Let's do it in a legal way, all right? So if it's a free trial that's offered to you legally, then obviously that's fine. If you're paying for the streaming service, great. Or if you want to rent the movie to give support to the studio and the actors and everyone in it, then do that. So yeah, if we love art, we want to support art. That's the last thing we want to do is cheat people out of it. So thanks to AT&T TV for the free trial. I appreciate it greatly. Got to see this movie, really liked it, really enjoyed it. And I recommend it for you. So I don't give a star rating. I don't like that. I just like to talk about the movies. Here's what I would say. Watch it. The setting, unique, creative, awesome. I give that 2 thumbs up. This powerful contrast of two approaches to love, powerful, 2 thumbs up. The last scene, powerful, 2 thumbs up. Some special effects that looked kind of bad. Maybe it's because it was made, 2007? Maybe that's why. I still think it holds up. The last battle scene, I think, is a little anticlimactic, but I think it's really, there's a greater picture that's there. So you have to remind yourself of that. It's got a lot of suspense. It is gory at times, very gory. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. I think it's a good time. It's a lot of fun. And even though there's some of the trappings of kind of just like a gory horror movie, kind of a little B-movie vampire, kind of action thriller, there is an exploration of a deeper concept and a deeper exploration of the concept of love, which is definitely worth your consideration and your time. All right, there you have it. Go watch it, enjoy it. And I'm going to end this broadcast as I do all of my broadcasts. Life is way, 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 way short. It is way short. You don't know when it's going to end, so don't waste a day. Don't waste a minute. Don't waste an hour. Get out there and enjoy life. And one of the things you can enjoy is maybe a movie, 30 Days of Night. Go watch it, enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Thanks for listening.